Hello, it's Friday, February 28th, 11:41 p.m. I want to talk about today is I didn't have much trans topics to talk about that happened to me this week, but I just kind of noticed that I've been feeling more emotional, and I definitely know it's the pills that are working its magic on me. I started taking HRT on February 5th, so about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I realized I've been feeling more emotional. Although keep in mind, I've been able to cry before taking HRT. It didn't happen a lot, but then in the past year in 2024, I hung out with people that really affirmed my gender and didn't have to make me question about my gender and didn't make me feel like that I was having imposter syndrome or something like that. And they just kind of always treated me like a girl, and I never questioned it or thought about it. I just felt like a girl, and I felt like myself. When that happened in 2024, I noticed that I was becoming more emotional and that I was able to cry than how I usually am, where it's hard for me to cry. I used to say to my friends, I can't cry. I've cried out all my tears, so there's no tears left for me to cry. Then I started crying a bit more in 2024. So I've had access to my emotions and stuff like that. And then I noticed 2 weeks later, after I started taking HRT, I noticed that I've been feeling a little bit more emotional. Things have been getting to me a little bit more easier. I wouldn't be angry or anything. It's more so sadness, tears falling down my face. On Sunday, I kind of woke up. I was really tired. After I used the bathroom and I started making my bed, I started crying, just randomly out of the blue. It wasn't even heavy crying, sobbing, wasn't anything like that. Just silent tears were just falling down my face while I was making my bed. And it was the weirdest thing. I was completely fine. I was just tired, that was all. I woke up really tired. I used the bathroom, I was still tired. And then just tears started falling down my face for no reason at all. It was the most odd thing. This was also in the morning as well. I decided to play music, and I decided to play Girl So Confusing by Charli XCX. I just kind of had that song in my head, and I wanted to listen to it. I listened to it a few times before, which is why it was stuck in my head, and I kind of wanted to read the lyrics because I have my own trans take on it. The song doesn't talk about anything about trans topics or any trans-related things. It's kind of about two girls that are both in the music industry, and they're trying to navigate their friendship together, and how that works out, and how confusing it can be, and how confusing it can be to be even a girl. And I misinterpreted one of the lyrics, and that kind of made me have a trans take on it, and I had completely spun a whole new meaning to this song because I misinterpreted one of the lyrics. I wrote it down in my journal, and I would like to say my trans version of Girl So Confusing by Charli XCX. I'm gonna read you the lyrics. Girl, it's so confusing sometimes to be a girl, 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 girl. It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl, 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 girl. How do you feel being a girl, 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 girl? How do you feel being a girl, 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 girl? Man, I don't know, I'm just a girl, 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 girl. I'm going to explain what these lyrics meant to me. These lyrics made me think about how it's so confusing to be a girl, from having to constantly protect my peace and to reassure myself that I'm a girl, from combating my inner thoughts when I'm feeling imposter syndrome of not being girl enough, from having to do things that verify my identity all the time, from having to deal with being perceived as a boy when I go out but inside knowing I'm a girl, and trying to express myself in a safe way where people can understand I'm queer or trans without receiving hate, from even being hesitant to enter women's restrooms because I'm scared someone will call me out. It's a lot to deal with. I often think about how queer people need to be so delusional about their confidence in order to go out and be themselves because they never had the support from their family to be able to express themselves, especially trans people. And when people tell me I'm not a girl, I have to be super delusional in my level of confidence and self-love to be able to express myself and not fall victim to their words. So yes, it's so confusing to be a girl. And I would like to clarify, when I say delusional, I feel like queer people and trans people need to have their level of self-confidence and self-reassurance in themselves so fucking high. It's gotta be so high than the average person. The best way I can compare it, if you've ever seen Paris is Burning, the documentary, and you've seen like these drag queens and all these queens and the queens of the houses, and how they just kind of have this level of confidence to them when they walk down in the ballroom, when they dance, when they vogue. Like, they have a level of reassurance and confidence in themselves. Like, you've got to be fucking tough. You've got to be a cunty ass bitch. And you've got to know your worth. And you can't let other people's words affect you. Like, they're just so slay and so dramatic, but in a good way. Maybe not so dramatic. They know how to express themselves for what they really want to express themselves as. They're not trying to hide their inner emotions. They're trying to conform to the society around them. I've really looked up to that, and I still do. And I think that's pretty much what you have to be even today. Like, when you're surrounded by a group of people or a community that just doesn't affirm your existence or doesn't want to accept you being trans or you being queer or you being gay or lesbian or bi, it's just like so hard when you're the only one that believes it while everyone else around you is saying, no, you're wrong for that. You're wrong for thinking that. You need therapy. We should take you to conversion therapy. We should do this to you. Oh, you have a mental illness. You shouldn't be thinking this way. Like, that's so damaging. I feel like the only way we can combat this if we don't have the support system around us is to pretty much have this like fucking super high level of confidence that is on par with delusion. To everyone else, it looks like you're delusional, but to you, you know the real truth. And I'm gonna skip a bit. I'm gonna skip 2 lines. Gonna go straight to this part of the lyrics. You'd always say let's go out, but then I'd cancel last minute. I was so lost in my head and scared to be in your pictures, cause for the last couple years I've been at war in my body. I tried to starve myself thinner, and then I gained all the weight back. I was trapped in the hatred, and your life seemed so awesome. And then I wrote, these words remind me of being trans, and I relate my trans experience with them. When I have to go outside, I feel that I'm never prepared for it or don't want to. I have to shave my face and present myself in a way that I'm comfortable enough to be out, and I build up a barrier of delusional levels of self-confidence in order to deal with any potential transphobes or weird looks I receive, or dealing with being perceived in the wrong body. I never canceled going out because I was feeling gender dysphoric, but sometimes the urge is there, and I have to deal with the imposter syndrome thoughts in my head of not being girl enough, and it's hard for me to take pictures with my face in them because I don't like looking at my face and seeing masculine features stare right back at me. I envision myself as a different person in my head, which allows me to build up my barrier to participate in the world, but when I see myself in the camera, the illusion is broken. I have to deal with reality in that moment. It feels like the fourth wall is broken. It feels like I'm in the Truman Show, and I found out my reality that I've known is all fake. I feel the same way when looking in mirrors too. I can't look at mirrors. Some days it's worse than others. Some days I can take pictures or look in the mirror. Most days I don't do either. I'm gonna take a minute. I feel like other trans people have this experience as well. When you do have like the energy or courage to look yourself in the mirror. Like I can see both versions of myself. I can see the version that is me right now, and then I can see the version that is the version that I envision, or like how I see my facial features becoming more feminine. Like I can see a feminine girl version of myself. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can. It depends on the day, really. But yeah, that was my experience with looking in mirrors. Let me continue. When Charli says, quote, "Because for the last couple of years, I've been at war in my body," end quote. I hear the words, quote, "Because for the last couple of years, I've been a boy in my body," end quote. And that's what I've been hearing. But then after I read the lyrics, I realized, oh wait, it's different. I relate to the version I thought I was hearing because that's how I feel every day. I feel like I'm at war with myself of being viewed as a boy, but knowing I'm a girl on the inside. It really is so tough. I could dress myself feminine, wear makeup, wear hip pads and boobs, but when I undress to take it all off, I'm a person with a penis. Sometimes they feel like temporary fixes. And then I started crying. And At times, I do feel trapped in the cycle of self-hatred where I feel completely gender dysphoric and it feels like there's nothing I could do about it because even the normal fixes don't work for me this time. And then I would start comparing myself to cis women and wishing I grew up with estrogen in my body and growing boobs and having a pussy and feeling my body get sensitive all around during sex instead of just my genitals, and wishing my fat distributed like other women, and wishing for a similar bone structure that matched women who had a softer bone structure, and being able to relate with other women about periods and sharing period weeks with my close friends, and having no body hair and being more in touch with my emotions. So that was my trans iteration version of Girl So Confusing. So that's kind of like why I relate to the song, and it just makes me feel very feminine listening to it, and I feel like I can relate to it even though like I can hear both versions of it now, which is kind of funny because it reminds me of when I just said previously I can see both versions of myself in the mirror sometimes. So I almost transified it. And then there was one more thing I want to talk about. I don't have any like body changes yet, but just emotions and stuff. Like I noticed I've been crying a bit more. Sometimes I'm like silently crying, and then I'm totally fine. Like I don't need to stop to wipe to like take care of myself. The tears just kind of disappear. Like that's been happening a bit more recently. And like before, I've never silent cried for no apparent reason. Like that's never happened. Like I do feel happy being able to express these emotions and being able to release the energy and feel it. And then I want to talk about one more thing. On Tuesday, last video journal, I talked about how I officially got my name changed, like legally, and my gender as well. And so now I'm in the process of changing all my documents and identities. And I decided to go first with my DMV driver's license. The previous night, I had a plan. I was like going to be like, okay, I'm going to go to the DMV and change my name. And I also wanted to change my picture because the picture on my license, the picture was taken 4 years ago. And I had like beard. This was before I realized I was trans, and I was just trying to make do, trying to figure out my style with a beard and trying to be more masculine and trying to like be used to being a guy. It was a bit odd, but I was trying to be more masculine and trying to like be more in tune with my body. But then while doing that, I ended up finding out I like to wear feminine clothes. I like to dress like a girl. And then I realized, oh wait, I'm trans. So the picture on my driver's license has just beard hair. I'm not going to show it. And people described me as Jesus because I had long hair. So I want to change my picture, and also I need to change my name and my sex on my driver's license. The night before I went to the DMV, I searched up if I needed a reservation, saw online people saying you don't need a reservation. They kind of just went in without one, and it was perfectly fine. There was no line or anything. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm not gonna make a reservation. I went in on Tuesday, and the most like cunty ass outfit ever. And I need to show it to you because it is just a pure work of art. I'm wearing my pink coat. I'm wearing my pink rose quartz crystal and the sweater. Very soft. And then look at this. I'm wearing the heels. I'm wearing pink suit pants. I'm wearing the coat, and I felt really good in this outfit. I even put on lip gloss as well. I forgot to mention that I put on lip gloss. Look at this. I didn't know if I could have my picture taken on the same day of changing my name and my sex on my ID. I didn't know if that was possible. But just in case, I went in on Tuesday and I just wanted to show up in the best outfit possible. Walking in the heels were really hard. Like out of the entire day, I probably walked 6 blocks in total because I frequently took buses, trains, and then when I got home, there was like a red circle underneath the middle of my foot and my feet were in total pain, even just beginning walking in them. The beginning of the day when I went out to the DMV, my feet were hurting me. And I believe it's because the heels don't have great support. They're also like cheap heels that I got for a Faye Valentine Cowboy Bebop costume. So they're not the best support support. Then they really hurt my feet. Before I used to be able to wear them, but now I can't. So I don't know what changed and what happened. My foot didn't grow. I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing the support just gave out. But I showed up in this outfit to the DMV, and when I got there, it was entirely packed. There were people older than me. It was mostly like 30 to 60-year-olds, I don't know, but they were all older than me, and it was entirely packed. Every seat was taken. There were 2 people standing right outside the door. I was about to go in, and they stopped me and they asked if I had a reservation, and I was like, no, I don't have a reservation. And they're like, you can't come in, you need a reservation. I got super dressed up. I was slaving in those heels and slaying, and then I found out I can't go because I needed a reservation, which sucked. And the place was literally packed. So then I just took the train to college and I had classes, and that was kind of it. But I'm just like really happy with my outfit. And the heels really hurt. And one more thing, the reason why I wore the heels is because it's basically my only feminine shoes I have. These are the only heels I have. I have my demonias, and then everything else is sneakers. It's just sneakers. And I wanted to wear something feminine, like really feminine. I want to present really feminine for my picture. When I was fully dressed up and when I was going downstairs to start my day, to go to the DMV, my dad was sitting downstairs in the living room, and you basically need to go past him to go out the door. And I was walking down the steps, and he sees me, like he turns his head and he just watches. First the shoes appear, and then slowly my pink pants, and then my pink coat and my lip gloss. It was a whole reveal, and he gave me the most disgusting face ever. He was like, ugh. He didn't say anything, but I saw him staring me down, and he was definitely staring at my heels, because I never wear the heels. Last time I've worn those heels was Halloween last year or 2 years ago. So no one knows I have them. And I just came down the steps with them, and he had the most disgusting face ever. And he didn't say anything, but I just walked out the door, having to have my guard up, and also trying to serve and trying to just bring my confidence up while being out that door. That was the experience. I texted my friends about my dad giving me the most disgusting and the most horrified look of me wearing heels, and my friends absolutely clowned him. They said he could never, and they were totally right, because I slayed. And I would like to show you the female version of the pictures, or just the face up version. Look at this. Look at that. That's kind of how I see myself. I know that like once I fully transition, like it's not, face app isn't going to be super accurate to the pictures I have right now. Like I'm probably gonna look feminine, but not as feminine as the pictures show. Oh, and also one more thing I'm gonna share this. I talked with my therapist about feeling like I have to put up a barrier every time I go outside, because I'm always afraid someone's gonna give me a transphobic remark, or someone's gonna say something weird about me, or someone's gonna like act weird around me because of the way I dress or the way I present myself, or because of like me introducing myself as Emily and saying she, her, like, hi, I'm Emily, she, her at the end of my introduction. And I kind of feel like I have to put up this barrier every time I go outside just to be able to interact with the outside world and to prepare myself. And she told me that can get exhausting and tiring, and she would like to see me try to like be more confident. Instead of like putting up a barrier and closing myself off, every interaction is going to be like a little battle that I'm gonna have to face. That's not it. Like, that's not the thesis, especially when I don't receive any transphobic remarks or actions directed at me, and it's basically all in my head, but I mentally prepare myself just in case it happens, but it never happens. Like, sure, it can happen, but it doesn't happen in my day-to-day life. I think I've received like 2 transphobic remarks from 2 people at the same time on Pride Day. I think that was it. And I was with my friend and we didn't really care. We both flipped them off. So yeah, it rarely happens. And instead of like always having to try to put up a barrier to protect yourself, how about just kind of just believe in confidence, believe in having confidence in yourself, and just think about what a confident person would act. I'm not going to explain what I think a confident person would act, because if I explain it, then you might set up this expectation of, oh, a confident person should act like this, they should act like that, or they should act however. A confident person, however you describe it, will become you. If you try to copy what my version of confidence is, you're only going to copy what other people are doing. You're just going to be following the crowd. You won't become an individual like that. That's not how you gain confidence. So my version of confidence will be totally different from your version, or we might have the exact same ideas of what confidence is, or how can it be shown inside of ourselves. What I am doing this week is every time I'm like going outside or going down the steps to the kitchen and passing my parents, I always try to like think of or trying to like be confident. And when you get into this frame of confidence and always thinking about like how a confident person should act, or how I think a confident person should act, and then copying it, and then eventually you will embody those same things. You will embody those traits. And if you always like try to be confident, you're just faking it till you're making it. That's the end of the day, and it will come true. And I believe in it because I've seen it happen before. I don't know if you guys believe in it, but that's okay. So I'm trying to, instead of putting up barriers, I'm trying to be more confident. That also means kind of just like whenever I'm talking to new people, I'm not trying to distance myself. I'm not trying to seclude myself from conversation. I'm trying to interact with other people and be more lively and kind of like excited to speak and confident in my speaking and my socializing abilities. And I feel like this would help me a lot in my transition. Just being confident, walking down my street, strutting inside of the best, most extravagant outfit. And I think just showing confidence and being confident in yourself will give off that energy of confidence to others, and they can sense it. So that's where I'm going to leave it off here. Oh, and by the way, I made a reservation for the DMV on Monday. It's happening on Monday. Going to the DMV to change information. That's kind of what I reserved it for. I hope that includes name change and sex change, because if not, I'll have to make another reservation and wait a few more days, which will suck. This reservation is different from actually taking a picture and updating your ID. So, peace out.